Hey there, it's Jen, and I have something fun and different to share with you today. Close to My Heart was kind enough to send me their From the Heart card kit, which is a special kit that you can get just in the month of September for National Stamping Month. And it is a kit that has 10 card bases that are kind of pop-up cards, as well as a double-sized stamp set. They call it an E-sized stamp set that has floral images that you can layer and build on each other, and then sentiments that you can stamp inside. Now, unfortunately, I accidentally deleted about 30 minutes of footage of me playing with the stamps and making these cards, but I do still have the video of me talking about them afterwards. So I decided to go ahead and share it with you anyway, and here we go.
Hey there, so I finished all of my cards. I only did 6 total, so I still have 6 more left to make, but I just wanted to, I would stop here today. I had a lot of fun after I got started. Now, this is my first card that I showed you on camera. It wasn't the greatest, but after this first one, I really got the hang of it. I do actually like the top part of this card, but I just wanted to show you again what I did. So here's the first card, and then I just stamped the flower piece on the inside. And here's another card. Now, a few things I want to point out. So I ended up using bits and pieces that weren't necessarily flowers or leaves as parts in my design. So on this one, for example, you can see the base leaf here, which is this, and then there's the overstamping here, which is this. And I used this piece, which is meant to stamp right here on this leaf. I used this piece as another leaf. So you can use the different pieces as additional items. I also used this little piece that stamps in the center of the flower. I used that as leaves as well. And then this piece that stamps in the center of that for the little dots there, I used that as little flowers coming out of this little bundle right there. So it was fun to kind of play around with different things that I could try. And I like the way this one turned out. I just mirrored the image, so it's exactly the same this way and this way. And then on the inside, I stamped "I'm so happy for you" in gray. Okay, and once I got the first card put together, the other ones were actually a breeze. And so I think the first, just maybe know that you might have a trial and error on your first try. Okay, this one I wanted to keep really simple, and this flower actually, I was emulating this flower here, and I just stamped a couple. I actually ended up using, I stamped on a sticky note this large flower, and then I used it as a mask and then I stamped the leaves so it looks like the leaves go behind the flower. And so that's something that you can try. It's, you just stick it on there and then you can stamp on top of it and then pull it off and it looks like the leaves are behind it. And I just wanted to keep this one really super simple. It says "Thinking of you," and then the inside says "You're in my heart." And I figured, so it kind of bugged me at first that these were so huge and they filled up the space, but I figured you can also write up here on this part. And so it doesn't matter if this covers up, if this takes up the whole card, because you can write on the top part. Okay, this one I wanted to try something different where I wasn't using any flowers really, and I just was using the leaves, and this could be something more masculine. And I just stamped a wreath. I loosely drew a circle with a pencil, and then I just stamped all the leaves, and you can see that I also used those bits and pieces I mentioned before, these little parts of the leaves, and also this little piece here to create leaves too. And then I just used all of the little dots to kind of decorate the wreath, and stamped "Thank you" on the inside. Now you'll notice the word, or the phrase "thank you" on here is one big piece, but I just inked up half of it and then stamped it, and then inked up the other half and stamped it below. And that was just so that it would fit better in the wreath because it wouldn't stretch across right. And so I did that one, and I didn't stamp anything on the inside for this one. Just wanted to keep it nice and simple. So there's that, more masculine version. Here's one where I did another kind of wreath. This was my second one, so I was still trying to find my groove here. But again, I just stamped kind of an ovalish sort of wreath. This one kind of mimicked one of the ones that I saw on, kind of started out like this, and then I just kind of took it in my own direction. But again, I used these little pieces that were meant to stamp on top of the leaves, I used those in my design as extra little pieces where I felt like I needed a little filler. And I think that worked out pretty well. So there's that one. It says thinking of you, and then on the inside I just stamped so very much. And if you remember at the beginning of the video, I cut this piece, the floral piece off of so very much, so I was able to just stamp the words without the flowers, and I didn't feel like it needed the flowers, so I did that there. And then lastly, I have this one, which I'm really happy with the colors on the way and the way that this one turned out. Again, I just did the same thing that I've been doing. This I wish was a little bit more curved, but it's not, and that's okay. But I just stamped the leaves. So here's how I decided it worked best for me to start. I stamped the flower, and I stamped it a little above where I thought I needed it to be. Well, actually on this one, I think I stamped these two leaves first, then I stamped the flower, then I stamped some filler leaves, and then I stamped some more flowers and then more filler, and you'll kind of just get the hang of it as you go. And that was kind of part of the fun of it, was figuring out how it worked best to do it. And you can see here I used the fern ink, but I also did second generation where I stamped it off first and then stamped it again to do these parts that are filler, and it makes them kind of fade to the background, and I think it looks really nice. And then up here you can kind of see the little stripes there, and that's where I used this piece of the leaf that's supposed to layer as just its own little leaf. And so I think that these stamps really can stretch farther if you just use the layering pieces as little bits as well. And then I thought I wanted a little bit of this stuff down here too, just to fill in between these leaves. And what I used for that was this layering piece for this set of flowers. So again, you can just use all of the different pieces in different ways. And then on this one, I didn't stamp anything on the inside either. I felt like the front of it was good enough, and it says happy birthday. And those are the 6 cards that I made, and I hope that you'll try this out. You can get lots of variation, and you can switch up the colors. I just kept out the same inks that I had on hand. Let me zoom out for you a little bit so that you can see all of those. I just used the same inks for all 6 cards, which it was a lot of inks, but you could use more or less or different colors and get very different results. I liked adding in the blue on some of them, so that was fun. So I encourage you to check this out. I'll leave a link in the video description below to where you can grab this from Close to My Heart. And even more than the actual cards, I'm glad I have these on hand because I needed some cards, but more than that, I'm excited about this stamp set because it's fun to layer all of these bits and pieces of the flowers and create different kind of clusters. I think this one's probably my favorite. It's the one that turned out best. Some of the other ones, not so much, but I really like the simplicity of this one as well. So
that is the Close to My Heart From the Heart card kit. Now you can get the cards separately and the stamp set separately, or you can buy them both together. Again, I'll leave links in the video description below. The kit is only available during the month of September, so I suggest checking it out quickly if you'd like to do so. And here's another look at some of the cards that I made using this kit. I hope you'll check it out, and I'm actually excited to use this stamp set on some scrapbook layouts as well, and if I do that, I'll definitely share. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you very soon.